Okay, let's get into Bitcoin. So, the flows are really showing signs of improvement. And I love to see this because it's just sort of going about its business. The cogs are turning, the outflows have, the triage seems to have worked, the bleeding seems to have stopped. Predominantly we have a couple of big outflows every now and then. But look, overall, this is a slow trend shift as we're in this bottoming region at the 200-week moving average. So, what we want to see is this number to continue to tick higher. We have some really big inflows, and that will really give us some punching power. And I do think Bitcoin is gearing up for us to have a pretty significant rally here, maybe to 70,000. That is as long as the 200 holds. Now, last week in my weekly forecast, I was a little bit on the edge. I was thinking, okay, this is probably not looking good. We're still looking a bit weak here. If we close beneath the 200, again, conditions are everything. If this, then that. If we close the weekly below the 200, now today is Monday, we've closed again above the 200 week. So the downside really is off the table here unless we see some serious weakness over the next few days. Bitcoin loves that environment. And we just haven't seen Bitcoin fire a shot over the last, 12 months since the all-time high. And I just have to think to myself, look, well, was it or has it actually been the perfect environment for Bitcoin in terms of that liquidity? No, it almost looks to me like looking back now is that Bitcoin really had a strong rally on a couple of really industry specific narratives, and that was the ETF. So sudden inflow of demand didn't really matter about what the currency or what liquidity is doing. It's just sudden demand via ETFs, people getting their fill and just not being enough supply out there to fill it. And then you had the expectation of Trump getting into office, being the crypto president and a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Obviously, only one of those things happened. A strategic Bitcoin reserve hasn't happened. But again, it's a nice narrative. That narrative sort of popped, went away. While we were in a period of pretty tight rates, with the rates were quite high. Inflation expectations and inflation's just been hanging around. We've had geopolitical stuff hanging around too. But if the numbers continue to trend how they're going and inflation continues to drop, the rates will of course follow with it. Again, increasing speculation and also increasing the amount of monetary units in the system. And I think that is Bitcoin's primary driver. And we have not seen it fire at all, which is really encouraging if we're looking at cyclically, but also why has Bitcoin been down so far? Now, here's one that should be on all our radars because I'm a little bit torn here. I think hype has done a lot of good work, but now it is significantly weakening and we have to pay attention, particularly if you're heavy in hype, either in your spot bags or in your trading bags. This was really, really close to closing through the 10. Now, ordinarily, I'd say, okay, closed above, it's fine. But this is a clear matter of intent, I think, by hype. This was a bearish engulfing candle through, all this structure. That's not good. Just because it closed above the 10 doesn't mean this weekly candle can't now come down here. So you kind of want to assess the risk. The volume is now coming down as well. Now, as long as it holds above 59, so the all-time high breakout level, technically, yeah, it's still good, but you do have to wonder to yourself, is it kind of cooked and it's going to wander down to 52, maybe lower before it does a reversal here. So I'm a bit where I don't own hype, and I'm not in any hype trades, but this is a bit probably, this just looks weak to me, and it's nearing down to support.